You can either keep the same thoughts and feelings that have most likely been imposed on you, which is making you feel like life is just so hard and difficult for you and you can't have the easy, soft girl life. Or you can make the effort to actually start changing your thoughts, your beliefs, which are ultimately driving your actions in the way that you feel every single day when you get up and you feel as though my life is a mess, or life is so hard, or why can't I have the life that this girl has? And ultimately, there's going to become a time where you realize that you are the only one that is responsible for making life hard or easy for yourself. That's the reality of it. Regardless of whether you work a 9 to 5, you're also in school, you also have kids, you also are married, or you're also single trying to find a relationship, regardless of all the obstacles you feel that you have, I'm going to tell you exactly how you can still start enjoying life more. Life does not have to be hard. You can enjoy life on easy mode. Life can be easy for you. I know that I'm not the only one who is one of those people who has always like gone through life hustling, always putting in 100% effort, but you also take life way too seriously, and it does not have to be that way. And not only that, but you make it seem as though everything has to be so hard in your life. Working out has to be so hard, going to work has to be so hard. The little things in life, you make it seem very, very hard. And it's just like, you find yourself asking yourself like, damn, why do I have to be the one who has to go work a 9 to 5, then go and get a second job, and then come home and then sleep and then take care of this? Why does my dating life have to be so hard and stressful? Why does me trying to make it on social media have to be so hard and so stressful? The reason why you're constantly asking yourself why life feels so hard for you is because you are the one that has made the decision that life has to be so hard for you. And maybe it wasn't even you, but these beliefs that we have taken on from our parents are literally some of the driving forces behind why we feel the way we do about life right now. And that is one of the biggest things that I have learned from these podcasts, these books, all this information that I've been taking in. It's like, once you make the decision that this is not the life that I want, this is not how I want my life to feel when I'm 50 years old. Once you decide that and you start switching from this is hard, this is hard, this is hard, I feel this way about myself, all these things have to be hard, and you make that deciding factor to move towards that soft girl life and the life where everything just comes to you easy, no matter what it is. I promise you when I say this, you do not have to be in this like era where you're struggling for everything in every single aspect of your life. You feel like nothing comes to you easy. You don't have to be there. And I feel like I got to this point a little bit last year where things just started to get very, very weird. I went from things just coming to me so easily to, damn, why does it feel like things are changing and things aren't coming to me as easy as they were? And the main deciding factor that was is I was allowing other people's beliefs, other people's thoughts, what they believed about life to literally impact me in the way that I felt about my own life. And that is the first topic that I want to discuss. You have to be careful who you surround yourself with, because their beliefs and their thoughts have so much impact on us. And I don't think that people understand that, and I don't think that people realize that, but you will find yourself sounding like them, acting like them, and feeling the same way that they do about life that you feel about yourself. And ultimately, if you clicked on this video, you already know that you have a certain way that you want to feel about life. Therefore, when you have certain people around you that feel the complete opposite, it's either you distance yourself, you completely cut them off, or you make it a conscious effort to say, I do not claim that as a part of my life. And that's what I've been doing now. Certain things that people talk about, certain things that people say, it's like, I do not claim that as a part of my life. That's not what I'm accepting. You have to have a standard for yourself and a standard for your life. And it sounds so crazy when you think about it, but literally we have and are living the life we have right now is because we've just accepted what we've been given. We've accepted the thoughts and beliefs that have been imposed on us. And you have to make it a priority to be like, that is not okay. That's not the standard for my life. I come from a background and from a family where it's like, financial freedom is just not even like, no one thinks of it. No one is just like, every time I would go out or I would go school shopping with my parents, anytime it was like a big shopping for like Christmas, my birthday, school shopping, whatever it was, as soon as we were walking out of that store with those shopping bags, both of my parents, and I love my parents, I will go to the end of the earth for my parents. Everyone knows this about me, but you have to be real with yourself, and you have to realize that certain things you can't continue and take with your life and then impose them on your kids. So whenever we would leave these shopping stores and these shopping places, both of my parents will always be like, I'm broke now. What do you think that's doing to me as a 7-8-year-old child coming up? Little old me is thinking, mommy and daddy don't have enough money. That is imposing upon me to where like I have to go back to work for 2 weeks, and then get my 2-week paycheck, my check for 2 weeks, until I can spend money again. You don't realize it now, but I really, really, really suggest that everyone go and like take a really, really deep dive onto your childhood, and it will tell you so much. And this is like opened my eyes, because I realized that's a lot of the reason why I had certain beliefs that I had about financial freedom, about making money, about going to work, and certain things. And the reality of it is, you do not have to live the same way that your parents lived, regardless of what it was, how it feels. If you've never had a two-parent home, or you've always seen your mom struggling to find someone who loves her, that does not have to be your case. It doesn't have to be hard for you to find someone who genuinely loves you. So when it comes to those previous belief systems that have been imposed on us, the number one thing that I recommend for that is literally shifting the narrative completely. So now I've been doing affirmations, I've been journaling. Whether you believe in it or you don't believe in it, the reality of it is your belief system is driving your actions. That's the bottom line. And you have to change what's in here first. And that's what I've been learning. Like, no, you can go and you can work as hard as you want to day in and day out at your job, but there's going to be a cap, and that cap is your beliefs. So if you believe that no matter how hard you work, no matter how much effort you put in, you'll always be living paycheck to paycheck, that is going to be your reality. If you believe that it's going to be so hard for you to find someone who genuinely loves you, that is going to be your reality. For me, I don't know why, but the aspect of my life that has to do with like relationships and finding a guy that loves me is never really been something like that. Belief never shifted for me. And I think that came from my mom. So my mom I never heard her say anything about struggling for relationships with guys, with dating, with anything. It was always like, I could get any man I want. I deserve somebody that treats me well. She's always had that attitude, and I picked up that belief system for her. And I think naturally, I kind of find myself being like, I don't even care about being in a relationship right now. I don't even care about dating, guys, none of that right now. Like, I'm so focused on what I'm focused on. And when you get to that point, things start coming to you so easily. That leads me into my next point. So once you figure out how to write down these affirmations, my biggest thing is like, if your parents were always saying like, oh, I'm broke now, or I have to live check to check, my number one thing that I tell myself is there is enough money to go around. I have so much money in my bank account right now that is more that I can spend. Literally throughout the day, you whisper these little things to yourself. Whenever you start feeling like that little tension when you have to pay something, you have to pay a bill, or you have to pay your car note, you remind yourself and you tell yourself, I live in an abundant world. Life is on easy mode for me. Like, this does not have to be hard. The soft girl life is attainable. I want you to know that you can live a life that feels fun, that feels easy, that feels enjoyable, where life is just on easy mode for you, where everything just comes to you so naturally and so easily. You don't have to work so hard. You don't have to work as hard as you think you can work. And coming from a girl who has always come up and been an overachiever, who has always taken life so serious, take it from me when I say that does not have to be your reality. And you have to actively do this day by day when you are doing certain things that come up, and you're gonna feel this kind of like ickiness and this kind of like tension, because that's your old belief system and your new belief system that you're trying to implement kind of like going at each other. That's the best way that I can explain it. So for me, it's like whenever I pay a bill, whenever I pay my car note, I go from like, oh shit, like I gotta go upload on Instagram or TikTok right now to make that money back, to, you know what, there's enough money in the world. I live an abundant life, and the more money I spend, the more money comes back to me. I'm literally telling myself every time these old belief systems come up in my head, I am actively telling myself like, I have enough money in my bank account for me to spend. There's more than enough money for me to spend. For me, that is me shifting the narrative from this old belief system to this new belief system. It's like money comes to me so easily and so abundantly. It comes to me in my sleep. I don't have to worry about it. That's the mantra that I use for myself. Whatever it is, however you feel, you shift it to, this is easy for me. It's so easy for me to make money on social media. It's so easy for me to go to work and have a good time and enjoy what I'm doing at the same time. You really have to start paying attention to your internal dialogue and the things that you're saying. And that's one of the biggest things that I want you to take away from this video. When you go throughout your day, pay attention to your thoughts. It's one of the hardest but most beneficial things that you can do for yourself, which is literally pay attention to the thoughts that you're thinking day in and day out. And that's going to tell you a lot about your belief system. And then write write down these thoughts and shift them to thoughts that have to do with living an easier and more abundant life, a life that feels good to you personally. It becomes so much easier when you detach from all of it. That's when it all comes to you. That's when things start to feel easier. That's when life starts to feel easier, when you literally just detach from it all. Like, you leave it all alone. Things will start to be on easy mode. Leading me to my next topic of, you need to watch who you surround yourself with, because the people that you surround yourself with, obviously their dialogue is going to have some kind of effect on you. And this is what I don't think people realize, and I'm a very observant person, so I kind of can pick up on it and be like, I don't want that for me. I don't want to feel that way about life. So when you're in this era where you're trying to move to this soft girl era, this soft girl life, this kind of life that just feels easy, and you're the person where everyone is telling you like, damn, it seems like things always work out for her. Or it seems like things just come to her so easy. It seems like she doesn't even have to try that hard for men to just be attracted to her, or for her to make a lot of money. She doesn't even have to try hard. When you're in that place of moving towards that kind of life and that kind of person, you have to really, really be careful who you're surrounding yourself with. Because if you're surrounded by a group of friends who you've known since high school, but these people still have these certain belief systems where they feel like they have to be in grind mode and they have to be a part of this hustle culture where they never sleep, they never eat, they're just grinding, and that's the only way to success, you need to detach yourself from them. And I mean completely, because that's going to have an effect on you, and you're going to always have this battle of, damn, is it true, is it not true, do I really have to hustle 24/7, do I really have, and I'm here to tell you that you don't. Coming from someone who literally felt that way, and once I started to relax and just start to let things come towards me, that's when things started to pick up and things started to happen for me, whether it be in my business, whether it be relationships, whether it be anything. Once you relax, that's when things start to come towards you. And now that I'm getting closer and closer in my faith, I'm starting to literally realize that God doesn't want you to live a life where you're miserable, where you feel like everything is just hard for you. And I remind myself of that daily. Like, life is literally supposed to be fun. You're supposed to be able to wake up and be excited about life. Life is supposed to feel like this. Like, it's natural. And you have to make yourself believe that this is the way life is supposed to be, and that you deserve to live an easy life. For me, the biggest changes that I've made to do this is literally surrounding myself with people who live an easy life, who this is the norm for them. They wake up, they're excited about life. They don't feel so constricted and restricted by what other people are telling them. They get to live out the life of their dreams. Whether I follow them on social media, whether I'm on Pinterest, whether I'm listening to podcasts, I cannot stress it enough. These are going to be the things that are going to have a big impact on you. I recommend everyone, even if it doesn't have, like, for me, it's not in person really. It's not really people that are actually around me, even though my friends, of course, we're all on like this self-development journey. But personally, my Instagram pages, I've completely like cleaned them up. I only follow people who, when I look at their pages or I look at them, they feel a certain way about life, and that's how I want to feel about life. That's literally my point. And I want to make it a point to tell you that you are literally creating the rules of your life. You're creating how you want your life to feel. And I've learned this, like, in the past 2 months of me diving back into this journey, I have literally learned this. You create this standard for your own life, whether it's financially, spiritually, friendships, whatever it is, you create the standard. If you feel like life is so hard for you right now and things are just not working out for you, everything feels like a struggle, it's because that has been your standard of living for so long, and that is what you have accepted. We have to realize the part in the role that we're playing in our own struggles. And for me, it's like, we all have a standard of how much money we want to make, the kind of people we want around us, the kind of friends we want to keep, the kind of relationship that we want. And it's either these things are going to rise to that standard or you get rid of them. So the one thing for me is financially, I've raised my standard of how much money I make per month. Literally every single time that I do like my journaling and I'm on the financial part, it's like my new standard for money is this amount of money, period. And that's just what it is. The way that I raise myself to that standard is I go out into the world every single day and I take the action that a person who makes this amount of money would take every single day. You can't just feel like, oh shit, my life is a mess, life is on hard mode, without taking actions to actually make it better. So whatever you want to do for your life to make it seem easier, regardless if it's relationship wise or financially wise, you have to do some type of self-work and some type of self-change. And I think starting with your beliefs is what's ultimately going to drive your actions and the way that you start to feel. That's why I'm making it such an important point for you to reframe your whole way of thinking. You have to change it completely. And it'll start being the small things. Like for me, it's in one of my old vlogs. When I started making these little changes to me, I started going to the coffee shops and these people were giving me my coffee for free. And it was like the small things, but I will get in my car and be like, why? Like, it's been 3 days in a row. Why does this man keep giving me my coffee for free? And it's just like, once you start making these changes and you start showing up as the girl who life is on easy mode for her, she doesn't have to try too hard, everything works out in her favor, you will literally start to notice the people around you changing around you, treating you differently, and things will literally start to come into your life on easy mode. We sometimes are the reason why life feels so hard is because we're making it so hard. Change the way that you think about certain things. Why is it that you have to wake up every day and feel like going to and getting to the gym is going to be the hardest thing ever? Because you're telling yourself it's the hardest thing ever. Stop telling yourself that getting your summer body is going to be so hard. Stop telling yourself that increasing your income is going to be so hard. You need to stop telling yourself this. And then once you stop telling yourself this, I recommend so much that you go, whether it's social media, whether it's in person, but you find women or people who are living this life that you want, that look like you, and you ask yourself, why not me? The only difference between you and that person who life is on easy mode is literally the belief system. Your belief system is literally driving everything. It's the things that you believe about yourself. The things that you believe to be true about you, they're going to be true. Whether it's right or whether it's wrong, whatever you believe, that's the answer. Like if I go out and I tell you that the sky is blue and you believe that it's red, it's going to be red for you because that's what you believe. Regardless, you have to make these belief shifts. You have to start making these mindset shifts. And this is where I tell people, for me, it's journaling, whether you want to do affirmations, whether you want to do visualization. This is not a manifestation video, but when you're in this era of life just feels like it's hard and things are not going my way, you have to start talking to yourself in a completely different way. And my biggest recommendation is like, pay attention to the things that you say to yourself. You wouldn't say it to your child. You wouldn't say it to younger you. You wouldn't want a little child to believe these things. And as someone who has started listening to a lot more podcasts and YouTube channels and more just positive, inspiring people, the one central message that they have is that you have to change your belief system, the way that you think, talk, and feel. Life can be easy for you. It doesn't have to be on easy mode. And then kind of have like a little reality check for yourself and ask yourself, because so many people love this little hustle culture. Are you kind of like enjoying the struggle of like getting up every day and have to struggle for everything? Is there a small part of you that feels like you're going to get a bigger award because you struggled your way to the top than the person who lived an easy life? There's no reward for struggling. Like it's just no reward. And it's like, I think in the African American community mainly, we play such a like, we glorify struggling. And it's not cute. Like, it's not cute to me at all. Other cultures do not glorify the struggle. Like, we place such a big emphasis on, oh, you didn't have to struggle when you grew up. Okay, good. Like, I don't want for my kids to have to struggle when they grow up. I want them to live an easy life. I want to live an easy life. Like, no one wants to struggle. But you have to really have a reality check on whether it's you kind of like having like that, oh, I'm getting it out the mud type of mentality. And that could also be the reason why you're going to keep getting it out the mud, because you have this belief system of that's what makes you better than the next person, is that you got it out the mud, or that you're in the trenches trying to get it out the mud. It's just, I just don't want that for myself, and I don't want that for you either. Like, 2024 is just about being in a place where life gets to feel fun and life gets to feel easy. And that brings me to my next point of like, I've realized that life is not as serious as I've made it out to be. It's literally not even that deep. So many things, I really have to have a reality check with myself and be like, it's not that deep. Constantly throughout the day, when I find myself getting like really worked up about something or getting really emotional about something, like, is it going to matter in the next 5 years? No, it's not. Go back into the energy of, I'm in this place all day. I try to do these check-ins with myself. I literally have alarms on my phone that are constantly asking me and checking in with me like, do I feel the way I would feel in my dream life as this dream person? How do you feel right now? If your dream life consists of you feeling more grateful, more inspired, more abundant, you have to start feeling those things now before these things are going to come and before it gets real. And so many people hate the idea of faking it till you make it, but that's just the reality of it. And you have to kind of convince your mind and convince your brain that this is our new reality. This is how life is for us now. We're no longer in this whole like, life is hard, life is a struggle. We're not thinking like that anymore. And you're making the choice and the decision to not think these thoughts anymore. Make it a decision, make it a choice after you see this video. Like, life is on easy mode. Everything comes to me with ease and with speed. Whatever it is that you want, make it an effort to feel good about life, to feel happy about life. Like, people are gonna start asking you, like, how did you change? Like, how did everything just start changing for you? And then you're gonna be telling them, like, I just started enjoying life more. I just started to do what feels good for me. And that's every single day. I make it a purpose to do something that just feels good. If it's just relaxing, if it's just self-care, doing my makeup for the day, doing my hair for that day, it's just like, make it a priority to find time for yourself to really, really sit back and enjoy life, because it's not that deep. Whatever it is that you're stressing about right now, I promise you, in 5 years, it most likely won't even matter. Leading me to my next point of perception is everything. And it sounds so cliche, and I know we've heard it so many times, but when you do a deeper dive into like looking at the different ways in which different people view things, it makes all the difference. If you view your failures as an opportunity for you to stop focusing on your goals and for you to give up and for you to quit, there's someone else who has got to your end goal who viewed that one failure as an opportunity to grow, to learn from it, and to keep pushing past. For me, I'm starting to view things that are failures or things that don't necessarily feel good while I'm on this journey as, this is just going to make the story better. And once I remind myself that, like, the story is only juicier and it's only better when you have these little obstacles that come up. Do not dread over the obstacles in your life right now. View the cup half full rather than half empty. And I know it just sounds so cliche, but you really have to start making these little like shifts in how you're starting to view things. Like, why do we view going to the gym as something that's just so hard and so negative? You literally get to go to the gym every single day, whether you believe it or not, and whether it feels that way or not. You don't recognize how blessed you are and how grateful you should be till you're maybe bedridden, or you're in the bed and can't leave the bed for this amount of days. Now you kind of realize, like, damn, I took that little one small part of my day, which was going to the gym every day, for granted. I had a negative attitude about it. I never wanted to go. I would go in with a bad attitude, never even go through my workouts till you can't work out anymore. And that's been like the biggest little shift. It's like, find gratitude in every single thing that you do. I don't care if you made it from your front door to your car. You need to be grateful. Anytime I feel any kind of negative emotion arising, any type of icky feeling, I try to take a step back and just find gratefulness in that situation and just express as much gratitude as I can for every single part of my life, because so many of us take it for granted. And when you're in this place where life feels hard, or you don't feel like you deserve to live life on easy mode, try to find some kind of gratefulness and work on convincing yourself that you deserve to live a life that feels easy, that feels soft, where you get everything you deserve with ease, with speed. Everything just flows to you so naturally. The number one thing that I've been doing before I go to sleep every single night is visualizing. And I get so deep and I get so detailed. There are a limited amount of people who are just not able to visualize. So you can also journal and script out how life would feel if it was on easy mode. For me, I just think about my dream self and my dream life, and I get really, really deep into this. I think about the things that I will be hearing from other people, and truly when I wake up the next day and the next morning, I'm just like, I have nothing to worry about. Like, I have nothing to worry about. Everything is going exactly the way that it's supposed to. When I journal, I get very, very deep and very, very detailed into my journals, to where I'm like telling myself and convincing myself in my brain that life is on easy mode for me. Everything flows to me easily and abundantly. I have so much of everything that I don't even need anything else. These are the things that I'm writing down. These are the things that I'm telling myself throughout the day. You have to make it a habit to start being kinder to yourself and start talking to yourself in a manner where if life really was on easy mode for you, and if life wasn't so hard for you, how would you talk to yourself? How would you speak to yourself? And how would you view yourself? Think about it that way. And then you start making the tiny little changes and the tiny little habits day in and day out. And you start catching yourself and catching those negative thoughts. Don't beat yourself up when you have a negative thought arise, or when you find yourself complaining about life again, or complaining about some aspect of your life. Do not beat yourself up about it. Just note it, write it down in your notes or somewhere, so that when it's time for you to journal, or it's time for you to think about it and turn it into a positive affirmation, you're able to. Then the next time that thought comes up, you switch it to an affirmation and you tell yourself, like, I don't claim that for myself. I don't have to struggle. I don't have to go out and chase these guys. I don't have to text him a million times a day. I have enough men around me. Like, I have enough people who want to be in a relationship with me. And that's just the reality of it. You have to start making these changes before the changes are actually made. You deserve to live your dream life, whatever that looks like for you.